Let's get one thing straight from the jump. This is no longer about growing pains. This is sabotage. The Indiana Fever had a chance to build something special, and instead, they're building a disaster, brick by brick, play by play, quarter by quarter. And at the center of it all, Caitlin Clark, the fastest player in WNBA history, to 400 career assists. The generational talent who put butts in seats, eyeballs on screens, and made the WNBA relevant again. But week after week, she's being stifled, misused, and, let's be honest, outright muzzled by a system that refuses to let her thrive. So here's the question. How do you take one of the greatest offensive weapons in modern basketball and turn her into a role player by the fourth quarter? Caitlin Clark is the fastest player in WNBA history to 400 career assists. Let's get to the ugly. The game is a final 89-81. That's what Clark said after the Aces loss. We did what coach wanted. Read between the lines, she's not defending the game plan. She's exposing it. She literally followed up by saying, "At times we could have played faster, and that's on me. I need to stop conceding." Stop conceding. Let that phrase echo. She's admitting, publicly, that she was sacrificing her game to fit Stephanie White's system, and guess what? It didn't work. But the real kicker, she followed the system, and they still lost. So let's ask the obvious. If doing what the coach wants isn't working, then what are we doing? Stephanie White wants the Fever to play slow, to play through the post, to grind through games, to set methodical half-court sets and read and react like it's 2007. And guess what? That style might work with a veteran-laden, post-centric team like the old Connecticut Sun, but this isn't that. This is Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, Dana Evans, when she's healthy. This is a roster built for speed, spacing, pace, and dynamic playmaking. Instead, they're running 1990s motion sets with players literally walking into each other. So here's the question. Why is Stephanie White trying to turn a Formula One car into a farm tractor? And don't take our word for it. Look at the results. Look at how the offense always works in the first half, and then collapses by the fourth. Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston have the best two-man chemistry in the league. And yet, by crunch time, they vanish from each other's radar. Why is the Clark-Boston pick-and-roll shelved after halftime in every game? Why are we benching what works and forcing what doesn't? The answer is painful, but simple. Stephanie White won't adjust. Fire Stephanie White yesterday. Fire her yesterday. And the reason why is not that Stephanie White is a bad basketball coach. It's not that Stephanie White is a bad motivational speaker. It's not that Stephanie White is doing a bad job defending her players. It's not any of that. It's that Stephanie White and Caitlin Clark fundamentally have different understandings of the sport of basketball. Not even different understandings. What Stephanie White wants to do is not going to work for this team. It is not going to work for this team. What Stephanie White wants to do will not work. Let's talk about the rotations. In the loss to the Aces, the Fever were leading comfortably when Stephanie White pulled both Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston and subbed in Brianna Turner and Sydney Colson. And just like that, the lead vanished. Brianna Turner, the same Turner who passed up open layups, the same Turner who couldn't hit a rock in the ocean, in the words of the analyst, the one who fumbled screens, couldn't guard Asia Wilson, and tanked the rhythm of the entire offense. Yet somehow, Stephanie White called that a matchup decision. Matchup? Against who? How is Bree Turner a better matchup for Asia Wilson than Dantas, who can at least stretch the floor? How is it tactical to bench your only forward who can hit from beyond the arc, in a league dominated by threes? And don't forget, when Turner entered the game, Clark's turnovers skyrocketed. The rhythm was gone. The spacing was gone. The offense, dead. So, let's ask it. What is Stephanie White seeing that the rest of the world is missing? Or is it time to admit she's just not seeing anything at all? And by the way, Stephanie White benched Dantas for the entire game tactically. and said Bree Turner was on for defensive reasons. I'm sorry, Bree Turner couldn't guard Aja Wilson any better than Dantas could. 1. Bree Turner couldn't do that. 2. Bree Turner was passing a bubble left, at least Dantas was going to set screens. 3. Caitlin Clark had one turnover till Bree Turner came on the floor and was just turning it over constantly. It's not just one game, it's a pattern. Every night the Fever look like a different team. One game it's read and react. Next game it's slow it down, set screens and pray. Sometimes they're running and gunning, sometimes they're bleeding the clock like it's 1985. What is the identity of this team? Can you answer that? Because right now it looks like this. Clark starts hot, Boston eats early, the two build a double-digit lead. Then Steph pulls the plug, the bench fumbles it, Clark gets iced out, and the fourth quarter turns into a graveyard. This is happening every game. So again we ask, is this coaching, or is this malpractice? Caitlin Clark isn't one to publicly criticize. She's poised, professional, careful with her words. So when she says, we did what the coach wanted, and adds, I need to stop conceding, that's not nothing. That's a warning shot. She's telling us, the fans, the media, and most importantly the front office, that she's done holding back. She's done dumbing herself down for a system that doesn't suit her. And frankly, why should she? She's already proven she can run her own offense. Just look at the Mercury game. 32 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists. Nearly a triple-double. But instead of praise, White says she needs to pass to Dantas more. Why? To check a box. This isn't youth basketball. This is the pros. You build around your stars, not scold them for excelling. So we ask, why is Clark being punished for playing like a superstar? Caitlin, we introduce her to Dantas, she needs to pass the ball more. Caitlin Clark was an assist and 2 rebounds off a 32-point triple-double in a win against the Mercury. And do we not remember what happened at halftime in that game? Oh, Caitlin, we're going to take the ball out of your hands. She has 6 points the second half. She doesn't have a point in the last quarter. As it was the last quarter and a half, or was it the last 6 or 7 minutes she didn't have a point? So, yeah, it's very, very clear that this is not a Caitlin Clark thing, but this is a Stephanie White thing. And Caitlin Clark has literally come out there and as good as saying, yes, Clark is in a shooting slump from deep, 1 for 17 over the last few games. But let's ask the obvious. Are these good looks? Or desperation heaves after broken plays? Are the screens actually freeing her? Or are they ghosts? Is the floor spaced? Or is she launching under pressure with the shot clock dying? Everyone wants to focus on her percentages. But who's talking about the offense around her? The missed screens, the broken sets, the constant scrambling? And what about her conditioning? She's been coughing through games. She missed time with a quad injury. She's absorbing contact on every drive, while the refs swallow the whistle. Meanwhile, the bench depth is gone. Evans is hurt. Bonner is out. Sophie was benched, then brought back. Ari McDonald signed, then disappeared. The rotations change nightly. Nobody knows their role. So again we ask, is Clark struggling? Or is she surviving? What's the vibe around this team right now? Let's summarize. Clark's body language is flat. White keeps calling out Clark in the press. Rotations make 0 sense. The offense looks like a scrimmage. The fans are restless. The chemistry is shaky. The game plans are incoherent. And worst of all, nobody looks like they're having fun. The same Caitlin Clark who lit up arenas in college is now slumped on the bench, expressionless, deflated, disengaged. So again, we ask, what happened to the joy? Where's the energy, the passion, the spark? It's being buried under rigid coaching, broken schemes, and a team identity that changes with the wind. The moment of truth is here. The Indiana Fever have to choose. It's either Stephanie White or Caitlin Clark. Because this much is clear. They don't coexist. Clark wants pace. Steph wants slow. Clark wants freedom. Steph wants structure. Clark wants dynamic. Steph wants deliberate. You can't have both. So what's the plan? Bench Clark? Force her into submission? Break her down until she conforms? Or Do you build around her? Because make no mistake, this is your franchise. You don't bring in Caitlin Clark to play second fiddle to a coach clinging to outdated tactics. You let her lead. You hire assistants that elevate her. You build lineups that suit her. You unleash her. Or you watch her walk. This isn't just about Indiana anymore. This is national. The WNBA's growth is tied to Clark's success. The league wants her to flourish. Sponsors want her on national TV. Fans are packing arenas just to see her. And what are they getting? A system that holds her back. A coach who throws her under the bus. A fourth quarter where she becomes invisible. Is this what the league wants to showcase? Because right now, the Fever are wasting Caitlin Clark's rookie year. And the fans see it. And they won't wait forever. And right now, they have a choice. They can either fully back the coach or fully back the player. Because when there's so much of a discrepancy in how both of them want to play, you gotta do one or the other. And I'm not gonna tell them which is the right decision to do. And I have an entire video talking about this, which can be titled, should the Fever do this? And it's bench Caitlin Clark. But it's an option. It is a legitimate basketball option. Is the bench Caitlin Clark? I don't think it's a good option, but it's an option. And there has to be at least a discussion. There has to be a discussion around it. Even if it's not going to happen, there has to be at least a discussion around it. But anyway, we'll see you guys. Clark doesn't need to be perfect. She needs to be supported. She needs a coach who sees her for what she is. A once-in-a-generation talent who makes everyone around her better. But until Stephanie White steps aside or changes her philosophy, Clark will continue to struggle in a system that treats her like a problem to solve, not a weapon to unleash. So here it is. One last time. Are the Indiana Fever building around Caitlin Clark or breaking her? The clock is ticking. The fans are watching. And the choice must be made before it's too late.